These short videos have been designed to assist you with your first use daily walk-around checks. Please remember that it is your responsibility as the driver to make sure that the bus is checked and fit for service. Don't forget that you must also carry out a check of any vehicle you are taking over. On live changeovers, this will need to be done on reaching your next bus stand. Any defects found must be recorded on the VCR, including the time, and reported to an engineer. Remember, if in doubt, ask. Quiet vehicles now operate in depots. Please be vigilant and remember your safety during your checks. Remember, for your own safety, please ensure that you wear your high-vis vest and safety shoes in a vehicle movement area. And remember to remove your high-vis vest before you drive out of the garage. Handbrake and steering wheel adjuster. Check that the handbrake is applied and remains applied throughout the first use inspection, and that the vehicle is in neutral. Check for any excessive movement in the steering wheel column. Check the steering wheel column can be adjusted. Check the steering wheel trim or cover and make sure it is not loose. Check the power steering is operating by putting pressure on the steering wheel when you start the engine. Heating, ventilation and the driver's seat. Switch on the demister button and check to ensure the demisters are working efficiently with air blowing through the vents. The air will of course be cold to start with. If the demisters are not working, the bus must not leave the depot. If having completed one round trip it becomes evident that the heating is not working, report the fault to an engineer. Check the driver's seat to make sure it is clean and secure and can be adjusted up, down, forward and backward. And the backrest can be adjusted. The horn. Check the horn unit works when control is operated. Check the reversing alarm is working. Check the assault alarm works when control is operated. It is important to remember that it is illegal to sound the horn in a residential area between the hours of 23:30 and 0700 unless in an emergency. If the garage is in a residential area, check the horn and panic alarm at your earliest opportunity after 0700. Dashboard warning lights and alarms. Check that all the dashboard lights come on when you turn on the vehicle and they all go out after a few seconds. Any light staying on may indicate a fault and must be reported to an engineer. If the vehicle's management system has detected a fault with the bus, this is where it will show you where the problem may be. If a warning light is showing, report it to an engineer. Check the speedometer when you leave the garage. The brakes. Check the air pressure gauges are working. Do not move the vehicle if it has low air pressure. Check that there is a pedal rubber fitted to the brake pedal where required, and it is free from grease or anything that may cause your foot to slip off the pedal. Check the cab floor for any loose articles that may become entangled and interfere with pedal operation. Check the brakes by conducting a rolling brake test before you leave the garage. Do this by moving the bus forward approximately 1 meter, applying the foot brake. Windscreen wipers and washers. Check the wipers operate and, if applicable, all at different speeds. Check washers and screen wash are working and angled correctly in order to clean the windscreen correctly. Check the wiper blades are clearing the windscreen without smearing. Visually check wipers are secure and the rubber blades are intact from the exterior of the vehicle. The fire extinguisher. Check the location of the fire extinguisher. If the fire extinguisher is missing, the vehicle must not leave the depot. Check the protective glass, if applicable, is intact. Check the dial on the extinguisher and ensure that the needle is in the green section. And where applicable, check that the lock pin is in place and secure. Internal and external legal lettering and signage. Check vehicle height information notice is in place and make a mental note of this measurement. It is now a legal requirement that you show that you have checked the height of the vehicle by marking it on the VCR. Check both internal and external legal lettering signage is in place. For example, emergency exit sign, unladen weight, company address and passenger capacity. Check all destination blinds are working and showing the correct information. Doors and exits. Check all doors and exits are opening and closing and checking for air leaks. Check all emergency handles and door buttons are in working order and doors fully open and closed securely. Check the driver's dashboard to ensure that it is indicating that the emergency exits are open and that the audible alarm is working. Check the bus stopping warning light is working where applicable and if fitted. Check the contact-sensitive edges on the doors to ensure the doors reopen on contact. Do this by using a rolled-up newspaper. Do not use any body parts. Accessibility ramps. Check to ensure that you have enough space to deploy the ramp. Kneel the bus, then deploy the ramp. Check the audible warning is working. Check to ensure the ramp indicator light is displayed on the dashboard and look to see that the yellow edging on the ramp is clearly visible. Retract the ramp. Check that it is fully retracted and the flap has fully closed. Check to ensure that the ramp indicator light on the dashboard has gone out before raising the vehicle again. Mirrors and glass. Check all internal mirrors are secure and positioned to view the saloon in order to monitor passengers safely. If applicable, check the periscope or mirror or camera is in working order. Check all external mirrors and ensure mirrors and mirror arms are secure. Where split mirrors are fitted, ensure the smaller mirror is positioned at the bottom. Check all glass and windows. Where possible, windows should be opened and closed. Check for obstructions to vision, excessive dirt, scratches, etching, etc., including assault screen glass. Lights and indicators. Switch on the exterior lights from the driver's cab and then check all of the following. Headlights operate main and dip beam. Indicators operate left and right. Hazard warning lights. Brake lights and reversing lights check by using a reflective surface viewed in your mirror or with the help of a colleague. Fog lights where fitted. Markers and reflectors are secure and clean. Tire and wheel fixings. Check all tires for inflation and tread depth, punctures and general condition. Use the torch to ensure clear visibility. Check the sidewall of the tires for wear and bulges and any sign of metal starting to show through. Again, use the torch for clear visibility. Check all wheel nut pointers are fitted and each wheel has 2 pro locks fitted. If red pointers are fitted or the wheel pointers are dirty, mark it on the VCR. Check the rear wheel hub for signs of oil leakage. Body exterior. Check that the operator license is in place and in date. Check that all the exterior paneling for damage, including advertising panels. Check access flaps and lockers are secure and identification signage is in place. Check CCTV cameras and safety bars are secure and undamaged. Check, if possible, the engine stop. Check number plates are secure and readable and the number plate lights are working and free from dirt. Where possible, check the exhaust is secure by lightly tapping it with your foot. Fuel, oil and coolant leaks. If the access flaps can be opened, check the fluid levels. If low, report it to an engineer. Check to ensure that filler caps are present and secure. Following your rolling brake test, check the ground where the bus was standing for any signs of leaks. With the engine running, crouch down to check that there are no fluids dripping from the vehicle. Engine exhaust emission. Switch on and briefly rev the engine. Check the exhaust emissions. If you see smoke and believe the smoke to be excessive, get it checked before you leave the depot. It is an offense to drive a vehicle with excessive exhaust emissions on the road. If the emission light shows on the dashboard, report it to an engineer before you leave the garage. Body interior. Check all bells are intact and in working order, including all accessibility bells. Check panels are intact, including advertising panels, and check all areas for offensive graffiti. Check floor and stair coverings are intact, clean and free from trip hazards. Check seats are clean, undamaged, and the seat structure is secure. Check grab rails, bars, and handles to ensure they are secure. Check seat belts where applicable are secure and in working order. Check interior lighting, including the driver's cab, stairs, and step platform area, is in working order. Emergency exit hammer and signage. All emergency windows and exits stating break glass must have a hammer nearby. The more modern vehicles have a push button on the window which will break the glass when pushed. Check that the hammer is in place. Check emergency signage is in place, legible and correct. Check the button's safety seal is intact. A first aid kit is a mandatory requirement only if carrying out private hire or tachograph work. Check the first aid kit if applicable. Other items. Check for general cleanliness and make any other relevant observations of the vehicle. If it is obvious that the bus has not been swept or cleaned, report it before leaving the garage. Check to ensure that your ETM Oyster, radio and iBus equipment are working correctly before leaving the garage. If you find a fault, report it to an engineer. Check the spit kit. If it is missing or has been used, note it on the VCR in order for it to be replaced.